Hi, my name is Ashton Richards. I'm a sales consultant here with Veith Consulting, and today I wanted to go over our file archive system a bit. So the first thing we're going to do is look at the configuration settings for it. So on the admin menu, if you go to configuration here at the top, and then under other configuration options, it will be this file archive link. So under here, there's only a handful of configuration options. But again, if you want to know more information about any of these specifically, you can always click on this blue information icon here, and it will tell you more about what this option does. So the first one, show file archive in the members area. If you want to allow for your members to have access to the file archive, you want to make sure that you have that checked. The count downloads option here, this is kind of important to keep in mind when using it. If you want to count the downloads that are done, then you have to check this box. But if you had any downloads happen before you check the box, those will not be counted with this count, as well as any links that are done outside of the system to anything in the system that gets downloaded. Those downloads also don't count. So it's only going to track downloads from within the system after you've checked the box. So that'll be the key thing to remember if you decide to use that. The content search option, this will allow for searching of those file archive files. That way if people want to look for something specific, they can do that. Include in general public search. So for this option, anything that's not locked behind being a board or admin file would be searchable by non-members as well. So if you want to allow for non-members to be able to see some of your files in your file archive, you can check this box. Otherwise, I'd recommend leaving this unchecked to make sure that only your members and higher are able to see this. It's just something to kind of keep in mind. Update file date when file is re-uploaded. So it'll have an uploaded date with the file, and if you go to re-upload the file because you made an edit to it or something like that and you want to upload the most recent version, it would then choose to track when the last time was that file was uploaded if you check this box. However, only that date is going to be what gets changed. The title, the description, things like that aren't going to be changed when you re-upload that specific file. If you want to remove the date column from the list, you just check the box here. For multi-tier categories, there's a few options. You can do no tiering, multiple tiers, or multiple tiers with animation. The animation is kind of just like a little slide feature. You'll see that when we get to that piece. Multiple tiers is just you can have a file within a file kind of thing. And no tiering is just you don't want files within files. If you want to remove links in multi-tiers with the animation, you just check the box there. Save last open folder in multi-tiers with animation. So for this one, what'll happen is it will track what the last one was that you opened, and when you go back in, it'll just open that up automatically for you again, but it's only the last multi-tier that you were looking at. If you have all of them open and then you leave and then navigate back to the page, it's not going to track that you had all of those open like that. Enable File Archive Advanced Search. So for this one, this allows for a little bit more in-depth searching options, and it also will allow for you to add tags to it to make it easier for searching as well, if you want to go that route. The custom verbiage and alternate title options, so you can change the file archive view verbiage, the file list verbiage. The alternate title here, this is just what you can change file archive to be instead of file archive. In the case of our demonstration site here, we have it set for file archive document library. If you want to have an alternate label for the description, you can input that here. And for the auxiliary fields or the extra fields here, you have a few different things you can put in. So we have author, year, and tags. So now that we've gone through all of that, let's take a look at the file archive itself. So we're going to first look at it with the admin view in mind. So under features, you'll go file archive document library. So on here, this is that multi-tiering we had talked about before. The best way to think about this is kind of like a folder on your computer's desktop. So each of these bolded category names here is a folder on the desktop, and any time that you see an arrow with another category underneath it, that's a folder within the folder. And the multi-tiering just comes into play where you have a folder within a folder within a folder kind of thing. So with this, you can create different categories and it will be at the parent level unless you decide otherwise. Your category lists, this is something that we'll get into here in a minute. Then you can do manage files, you can edit the category, delete it. These blue arrows mean you can move the category up or down on the list. So let's just take a quick peek at one of these. So let's say we look at the events category. So this edit is the exact same as if you were to add a new category. It all looks the same, it's just in this case I'm just showing how this one has already been set up. So you'll include the name of the category. If there is a parent level category, this is where you'd select it. So based off of categories you already set up, or you can set it as a top level page. It will also include a link directly to this category with its subcategories on this section. So if you just want to look at this specifically, you can just open this link in a new tab, and here's everything that's included for this. Here is the description of the category. Publish public directory. So for this, it would allow for public viewing of the information here. Open files in a new tab or window. This is helpful if you just want to make sure that people are staying within your page and within your website in general. This would just mean that when they click on it, it'll open up in a new tab, but keep the file archive open on the main tab that they were at. It makes it a little bit easier for navigation for some people. If you want to set this category to be only accessible by admins, you can check the box here. Only accessible by board members, you would check this box. And one thing to keep in mind for this is one of the modules where permissions within this module is ranked a bit higher than just general permissions. So what I mean by that is if you have an admin, someone who's a full admin but not a board member, and you set something to be board access only, that full admin cannot access those files, even though they are a full admin. They will need to also be a board member to access the board only categories. If you want to limit a file archive by member type, so by like a specific member that's only for them, then there's the limit access by member type menu in here. You just go through and find whatever member type or member types you want. If there's multiples you want to select, you can just do control click and click whatever ones you want. If it's a few within like a grouping here, so let's say all of these LCC options, you would just start with chapter and then just shift click down to past member. Secure access members only. If you check this box, it makes it so that people have to be logged in to be able to view the file. If you want to hide this category from your members, you can check this hidden category view. If you want to change up the sort order, you can do that here. Then once all that is set up, you would just click submit down here at the bottom. Now if we go back to the list here, so for events, then we'll go to the manage files section next. So on here, this is just the files that have already been uploaded. At the bottom here, you can add a new file, you can mass upload files, mass download files, copy files from somewhere else, or mass delete files. So let's take a quick look at the add new file option. So you can add a title to what it is you're uploading, a description, who the author is, the year, any tags that you want, because we have that auxiliary piece enabled as well, including tags, author and year. The date, the file category that you want this to be put under, if you want it to open in a new tab, and the file size, which for the file size, make sure that you are paying attention to this max file size piece here. Then a URL, so if it's something that's just on a different page, you just want to include that URL link, you can do that right here. So now looking back at the file listing here, so you can see the title of the file, the number of views the file has, when it was uploaded, the description of it, and then there's an edit as well as a delete action here for these. So all of this is for the admin side of the file archive. Now to look at the member side from our Pastry Chef's admin menu, you'll want to click this members view option. Then on the member menu, it'll be under resources and file archive document library. This is what the members are going to see. And in this case, this is only what this member specifically has access to see. So if there are things where it's restricted by member type and this person isn't of that member type, they can't see it. If it's restricted to board members only and this person's not a board member, again, they won't be able to see it. So this little slide bit, this is that animation I had mentioned before. And you can have multiple things open here as well. We did not enable the remembering the last file section that you had opened. So if I navigate away from here and then go back, it's not going to remember that the last thing I opened here was the document library. It'll just show that all of these things are closed. If we enable that option, then it would by default have the document library open again, but only the document library open, since that was the last one that I looked at. That's about it for the file archive for the time being. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We look forward to working with you. Thanks. Have a great day.